So whatever the Companies Act we are following now, whatever rules and regulations we are following now, it is as per Companies Act 2013. One person company which is introduced in 2013 Companies Act. Earlier, there were no rule or there were no concept called one person company. Private company cannot issue prospectus. This is very important. But public company can issue prospectus. A warm welcome to one and all. This is your Adasa here, lecturing Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. Now we are discussing your Unit 1, your first topic in company law. The topic is called as Introduction to Company. Now, what do you mean by introduction to company? Now, so before we get into introduction of company, the company law all related what? The formation till the winding up. So, how to start up a company? What are the rules and regulations are there? Who are the major person under company like directors, shareholders, stakeholders and all? And what is the procedure of memorandum as well as articles of association? Who is called as promoter? What is buyback of shares? What is issue of shares? What is discount? Each and everything like meeting, proxy, everything we will learn under company. From the formation of company till the winding up or liquidation of company, we learn in Companies Act 2013. Clear? So, your Companies Act 2013 which gives you a clear picture, certain rules and regulation, how to run a company. Now, we'll go with the introduction part like the long-awaited Companies Bill 2013 got its assent in the Lok Sabha 18 December 2012, in the Rajya Sabha 8 August 2013. Your Companies Act commenced from when? Your Companies Act commenced from 2013 8 August. Then, after having obtained the assent of the President of India on 29 2013, it has now become the much awaited Companies Act 2013. So whatever the Companies Act we are following now, whatever rules and regulations we are following now, it is as per Companies Act 2013. Now, so an attempt has been made to reduce the content of the substantive portion of the related law in the Companies Act 2013 compared to the Companies Act 1956 Act. So these are we had 1956 Companies Act. In that it was outdated. Few topics were there which were outdated. So they want to overcome that outdated part and they have to revise that. The only solution they had is 2013 Companies Act. Key features of Companies Act for your examination, it is very important. So there are two things are there. The main essential features is different. Key features of Companies Act 2013 is different. The first one person company. We go with the topic called one person company. Then private company. The second part will be called as what? Private company. And the third one, small company. One person, private as well as small company. And the last one called as dormant company. One person company which is introduced in 2013 Companies Act. Earlier, there were no rule or there were no concept called one person company. Now, private, small as well as dormant company. Next, types of company. What are the types of company usually we have? Now, classification of companies is to be done through various ways, but if you try to classify them, they can classify on the basis of. So, you cannot classify the company directly. There are many ways are there to classify your company. Now, you can classify your company on the basis of incorporation. On the basis of incorporation, you can classify. On the basis of liability, limited liability, unlimited liability, are limited by guarantee. These are the types under liability. Miscellaneous, these are the classification of your Companies Act. Classification of companies on the basis of its incorporation. How do you classify this? Now, statutory company. Statutory corporation are public enterprises brought into existence by special act of parliament. The act defines its power, functions, rules, regulations, governing its employees and its relationship with government department. All the government related or corporate related will comes under your statutory company. Now, Reserve Bank of India, State Bank of India, Life Insurance Corporation, Unit Trust of India, Employees State Insurance. You may heard ESI. ESI stands for Employees State Insurance Company. Now, oil and natural gas corporation, etc. are some examples of statutory corporation. Hope you are clear. Good. Classification on the basis of its incorporation, like registered company, chartered company, like registered. These companies are incorporated under provision of Companies Act by getting themselves registered with authority, ROC. ROC means what? Register of company. Now, private company, public, one person, all comes under your registered company. As per ROC, there are certain rules and regulations are there, provisions are there, you have to fulfill that. You will be called as registered company. Or in that, you have a types called one person, private company, public company, all comes under that. I will explain you what is private, what is public in detail. Now, chartered company, a company created by the grant of charter by the crown is called chartered company. This is important, crown. Company and is regulated by that charter. Charter is documents like memorandum of association. Hope you are clear. This is all about your classification on the basis of chartered companies. Now, the examples are Standard Chartered Bank. There is a main example for your chartered company. Next, public company. So I will explain public as well as private. Very important for your examination purpose. You have to learn what is public company, what is private company. Now, according to Companies Act 2013, a public company is a company which is not a private company. Simple definition. What is public company? Which is not a private company and has a minimum paid up capital of 5 lakhs. This is also very important. What is the minimum capital they should have? They should have 5 lakh as minimum capital. Then have the right to transfer the shares of the company. The public company have all the rights to share their shares. The public company has limited at the end of its name. At end of its name, they can add name called limited. Clear? This is all about your public company. Now, public company has limited at the end of its name. Next, the minimum number of members needed to form a public company is 7. This is important. What is the minimum capital required? 5 lakh. What is the minimum number required? 7. What is the name they can add? Limited. What they can do? They can transfer shares. These are the points you are supposed to remember. Don't learn as a paragraph. The points which are highlighted, please remember that you can explain that. Now, this public company have no restrictions. There is no restrictions of maximum number. It is not like 50 members, 100 members or 200. Unlimited you can keep. Public companies should have a minimum paid up capital of 5 lakh rupees. What is the minimum paid up capital they should have? They should have 5 lakh rupees. So, the minimum paid up capital already I explained it in the first paragraph. They should have minimum 5 lakh. Next, a public company can only commence its business after receiving a certificate of incorporation. Can public company directly they can start? No. After getting the certificate of incorporation, they can commence. A public company must have at least 3 directors. This is also important to manage. Then, public company can issue a prospectus. See, private company cannot issue prospectus, but public company can issue prospectus. Public company cannot be able to allot shares before the minimum subscription of shares is completed. If there is a 10 rupee or something, there is a minimum subscription is there. If it is done, then only they can allot the shares. Then the public company is free to transfer the share. This is a very important, because private company cannot transfer its shares, but public company have that right. Private company. Now we are done with your public company. Private company, the first definition will be what? Private company is not a public company. That is the first definition. Then whatever you did for your public company, you write ulta. They can transfer shares. They cannot transfer shares. They can issue prospectus. These people cannot issue prospectus. There is no maximum limit, but they have maximum limit. There is a minimum, how many members? 7 members. But here there are 2 members. These are the things you have to remember. I'll go one by one. According to Companies Act, private company is company which has a minimum paid up capital of 1 lakh. There it was how much? 5 lakh. Here it is how much? 1 lakh. And which is restricted to have the right to transfer the share. The private limited company has private limited. That is what? Only limited. Here it is what? Private limited. PVT. The extra word will come. A private company has private limited. Minimum number of members is 2 members, and the maximum is how much? As per Companies Act 2013, 200 members. Private company should have a minimum paid up capital of 1 lakh. There it was how much? 5 lakh. Here it is how much? 1 lakh. Then commencement of business of a private company takes place immediately after getting this certificate of incorporation. Once they got certificate of incorporation, they can commence their business. Private company must have at least 2 directors. There it was 3 in public, but here it is how much? 2. Private company cannot issue prospectus. This is very important. But public company can issue prospectus. Private company can allot shares without waiting for minimum subscription. But public company should wait till they sell minimum subscription. The Articles of Association of Private Company lays restrictions on transfer of shares. See, here transfer of shares is not permitted, but in public company, transfer of shares are permitted. Classification of companies on the basis of liability, like limited by shares, limited by guarantee, and unlimited. These are major one you have to learn. So limited by shares means all the shareholders who takes care of the company, and company which runs with the share value. And this is by guarantee, and this is unlimited company. Unlimited in the sense they are responsible for each and everything. I'll go back to all the previous slides so that you can take screenshot. Companies Act, key features, classification, classification of companies, public company, public company, private company, private company, classification of companies on the basis of liability. So this is all about your types of company, what is your memorandum, and what is your articles of association. Memorandum and articles of association will go in detail in the next topic, your unit number 2. Now, in this, a major thing we are discussed is what is company and types of company. Thank you.